To week 13 of EDT 530. We are entering the home stretch. The main focus this week is going to be about beta testing your Moodles at some point over the next week or two and working through that. So I'm going to just talk a little bit about how that's going to work, and that'll pretty much be it. The one change that I put in the Moodle as well, so hopefully you caught it, is that this week I had originally planned to be a synchronous class with us doing the beta testing sort of all at the same time. But with where different people are and with the fact that we're also meeting synchronously in the other class on Wednesday night, I decided it would work better for this class to be asynchronous this week. So we will not be meeting together at 5 on Tuesday. It'll just be up to you and your own schedule in terms of figuring out a time to get the beta testing done. So that is one change. And just please reach out to me if there's any questions about that. So in terms of the beta testing, the way it's going to work is as follows. Step one is there is a page here on the Moodle that kind of goes through in detail the procedure for this. What you're going to do is start by establishing a date after which you would be comfortable having a couple of students beta test your Moodle. So I'm giving you some control over when you feel that your Moodle will be far enough along that you would like to have that testing done. So that's really up to you. Obviously, the sooner you can get it done, the better, because then you'll have more time to incorporate any feedback into your final Moodle work. But if you need a couple more days to kind of get yourself in a position where you think you would be ready to get feedback. Your Moodle does not have to be 100% complete to be tested. It just needs to be far enough along that the people working through the Moodle can kind of see what's going on and can give you some meaningful feedback. So there's a wiki page that you will go to first, and for each of you, where it says test after, just put in the date that you feel comfortable that after that date, whoever signs up to test your Moodle can then test after that date. So just go into edit, go down test after, and then just insert a date for your Moodle. And so that's kind of step one. Once you've got that date in there, then the second thing for you to do is each of you is going to take a look at two other Moodles. So everybody will have two people that will look at their Moodle. But you can decide whose you would like to take a look at. I know some of you are working on similar topics, so if you want to try to jump on one of the Moodles that's one that you know about, you can do that. But in that same wiki, I should have just stayed here. What you'll do then is you will put your name in as a tester for two of the other Moodles. Obviously, if somebody's already put their name in as tester one, then you would put your name in as tester two. If a Moodle has two testers already signed up, then just pick a different Moodle. But the numbers should all work out. If everybody signs up for two different Moodles, then everybody should end up getting two people looking at their Moodle. So same procedure, just hit edit, type your name in, and that way the person who you will be testing for knows who will be looking at their Moodle, and you will be able to see what date they have set for taking a look at it. So once all that sign up is done, when you are ready to assess, once you've reached the date given by the owner of the Moodle, then you will need to enroll in their actual Moodle. If you go to the same page in the CCSU Moodle that has all of, where you find your student Moodle, you can go there and you will see the list of everybody's Moodles. I've also provided a link right here that should take you to that page. So you would just click on the one that you are testing. You will need to self-enroll, but you should be able to do that. And then once you're self-enrolled, then you will have access to the Moodle as a student. Your job as a tester is just to kind of imagine that you are a student going through this particular material. Maybe look at the ID plan if you want to get an idea of who the Moodle is for, maybe what age group or things like that. But then just kind of go through everything, click on links, read through material, make sure that images look good, that videos are working, kind of anything along those lines. Take a look at how they segmented the content, how they physically laid out the lesson materials, and just kind of go through it in that mindset of, if I was a student, how successful or how comfortable does this feel? And is there any feedback that I might give the person who designed the Moodle in terms of any things that you might add? There is a link back to the required elements. So if you want to remind yourself about what has to be in the Moodle, you can do that as also a point of reference. Once you've gone through the Moodle, every Moodle should have a feedback forum somewhere near the top of it. That was one of the early things I had you add. If for some reason your Moodle doesn't have one yet, please add that in there. But you will provide your feedback to the Moodle owner through that feedback forum. So just create a post and put it in that forum. As I say here, the posts should be supportive and positive. We've all done a lot of hard work on these and put a lot of effort into them, but they should also be, meaningful feedback. So if you do see things that don't work or don't work as well as you think they should, then feel free to make suggestions to the owners of the Moodle about those things. This should be meant to help the people who own the Moodles put the finishing touches on, help them gain some confidence that their Moodle works and kind of does everything that it's supposed to do, and so on. So that's kind of the procedure. Again, the Moodles are not expected to be at 100% at this point. I mean, some of them are pretty darn close. But if you're going through and there's obviously some things that are missing, just keep in mind that may be just because the Moodle is still somewhat in process. But hopefully there will be enough there that you can provide some meaningful feedback and so on. So again, just to kind of overview, step one would be to put the date for your Moodle that you would like it to be assessed after, so you can control when people start looking at it. Then sign up for 2 Moodles that you would like to be tester for, and get yourself enrolled in those Moodles. You can do that even if they're not ready to be looked at. You can still get yourself enrolled in the Moodle so that you're ready to go see them. Then once that date has gone by, work your way through the Moodles that you've selected, test everything out, check everything, check the required elements, and then put those posts in the feedback forums in each of the 2 Moodles. And obviously you will also be getting posts from 2 other students with some feedback about your own Moodle. And as we head into the last few weeks, then that feedback hopefully will help you put some of the finishing touches on. Never feel like you are obligated to do everything that somebody tells you in some of these testing situations. You may feel really strongly about the way you have something formatted or sequenced or whatever. You know your students best. So it's not like you have to take every suggestion that's given to you, but if you find things that make sense to you and you think are useful and will help improve your Moodles, then by all means use that feedback. All right, so that is really the main activity this week. In the past, I've done this more synchronously, but again, I think with where people are, giving you a little bit more control over when your Moodle will be looked at, and so on, I think will help people feel like they're in a better spot with all of this. Beyond that, that sort of is the homework, is just to work your way through the beta testing. Phase 4 of the TIP is technically due next week, but also the final phase of the TIP, the sort of actual assignment, was made available last week. So as soon as you get phase 4 turned in, you can, or even before, you could start formatting your final document and get that turned in really at any point between now and the end of the course. We will, in our final class, which is in 2 weeks on May 3rd, you will be doing a quick presentation about your TIP, just to talk briefly about what the topic was and sort of what you discovered and what you focused on and so on. So we will be doing that in our final class in 2 weeks. Production forums, all 5 production forums should pretty much be complete at this point. I know some groups were still finishing up the assessment project, but just go back through each of those production forums and make sure that all of those have been submitted. And in terms of the Moodle project, we're really headed down the final stretch. You should have your feedback from your beta testing over the course of the next week. Just go through and over these last couple of weeks, just finish up anything that needs to be finished up. They are technically due again in our final class, week 15, which is May 3rd, but you will have an additional week past that into that finals week of CCSU if you need some more time to put the finishing touches on everything. Next week is an asynchronous week as well, and there really won't be anything new next week. Next week will just be some time to finish up whatever you need to finish up, and then we will, believe it or not, be having our final class meeting the week after that on the 3rd. So that is our overview for this week, one of the final overviews that I will be doing. So reach out with any questions you might have, and we'll be touching base whenever we see each other next. Thank you very much and have a great week.